Real quick, what are some things, like if a buyer's shopping for a home, what are some things that you think are instant that a buyer could take note of when they're actually looking without that home inspector?
There's a lot of things you can look at. When you're buying a home, you're going to go outside and you're going to look at, because a lot of homes down here are block homes, you're going to look for obvious cracks, and not just hairline cracks. Unfortunately, that happens a lot in these block homes. You know, when they're building them, the heat and it shrinks the concrete, so you see some hairline cracks. It's the bigger cracks, things like that, especially in the foundations we have down here. If you're a home buyer and you're not going to get an inspection, those are a few things I'd look at. There's some older piping that you want to look at underneath sinks, things like that. You want to look at for crusty valves. You want to look at your water heater. Make sure they've used some dielectric, or make sure they've used something that's not two different materials that's going to cause that to crust up, possibly leak. Your air conditioning unit's a big thing down here. If you do not have an air conditioning unit that's working properly, or conditioned air in a home, you can wind up with mold and things to that extent. So those are things you want to look at right off the bat as far as big expenses. Roofs down here are also a big thing. Insurance companies are shortening the lifespans of roof. What you get 30 years up north, you're going to get 20 years, maybe 15 years down here.
And I could talk to you, I could spend all day talking about the differentiators of a good real estate agent versus a bad real estate agent. Yeah. And a lot of that's in the testament in real estate, obviously, is the testament of actually being able to get a buyer in this market under contract when all the other agents are running around writing contracts and not getting them under contract. That's a whole different conversation. As for the home inspectors, what's some differentiators between a good inspector and a bad inspector?
I think a good inspector, for me, is when I'm talking to an inspector, and I had to have an inspector when I first came down here, and the good inspectors are ones that are educators, the ones that will come down here and educate you. They have the tools when they come out and do the job. They're willing to sit down and educate you on what they find. Some home inspectors say, look at the report. Our company, we are going to tell you to look at the report because we want you to look at everything. We're going to sit down before we even leave the house, if we can, and we're going to have a conversation with you. And I think that's what good inspectors do. And I think good inspectors are on call. I get calls at 10 o'clock at night for somebody who sees my report and is just having questions. They're the ones that are available to you. They understand that there's a customer service value when it comes to that. And I think those good inspectors are the ones that are willing to sit down and talk to you about that.